slate's in. Ooh, they called you something horrible.
Hello again. You survived. That's good news. And my guest today is a young man who, if you have a teenage daughter anywhere within 100 feet, rather, you can't say foot, feet of a television set, you better call him, because he's Detroit's newest heartthrob, Mr. Mark Porada, a young fellow who is the star of Back Porch Video, and also recently came back from New York, asked for trying out for MTV as for one of the porch jockeys. So we'll be talking to young Mark a little bit about his experiences on television and what it's like to be a celebrity when you're arousing, I think 19. I think that's how old he is. I'm not sure of that. He may be only 18. But we'll be talking to Mark Porada, so don't go away. Well, if you've been wondering what I've been thinking about, I got this book I sent away. You ever get all these things to send away for books, and every once in a while it sounds like you just have to have the book? Well, I had to have this. It's called the Book of Inside Information. And this is what I learned this morning. I keep it in a room that I do a lot of studying in every morning. I won't tell you where it is, but here's what I learned this morning when I was in the study. Non-stick cookware. How about that? Now, you've all wanted to know about non-stick cookware. Well, it's called fluorocarbon resins. They put this on on pans and ice cream dips and everything. Well, you better be careful because it's toxic. If it starts scratching, get rid of the pan. Just throw the whole thing out, because those little things in there, those little resins build up, and all of a sudden you become a what do they call a fluorocarbon? You're running around. You're a floral carbon. Not a floral carbon, a fluorocarbon. Anyway, there's something for you. And also, did you know that in the morning, and by the way, one of the fastest growing businesses, new franchises, is water purification tests for home water. So much of our water is toxic today, even out of the tap, that they are now developing little kits that you can test your own water with. And one of the recommendations in this book is that you shower first before you take the water out in the morning for your coffee or your tea. Let it run a little bit, because it can build up actually poisons over the night. So if you're smart, you turn it on and you let it run a little bit, and you don't take that first glass of water out of the kitchen sink, okay, out of the water tap. Now, isn't that something to know? And if you've already been paranoid about toxics, now you can really worry about your drinking water. Good for you. That's from the Book of Inside Information. What a book. See, I know these things. Fortunately, water has never been a problem. Most of mine is distilled. I usually start out the morning with some distilled water. And it's got what proof? I don't know what proof that is, but it's marvelous stuff. Was it Jack Daniels? Is that who's the water company? Or Southern Comfort Water Company is where I go to. So I never have any problems like that. Here's to you. Let's pay some bills, and then I'll be talking with a teenage idol. I wonder if he has clay feet. Well, he's got Argyle socks on. Mark Porada. Mark Porada. Don't go away. We'll be back in a minute.
Are you looking for style,
Come into Muirhead's department store in Dearborn, where you'll find the latest fashions for young men in the new Muirhead's Young Men's department, with a wide range of quality, name brand shirts, shorts, jackets, and a lot more for any occasion, in all sizes, plus new and exciting spring and summer colors at Muirhead's. Muirhead's is located at 22370 Michigan Avenue at the corner of Michigan and Military in Dearborn. Muirhead's, Dearborn's tradition of excellence.
Istanbul, Dearborn's newest Arabic and American restaurant, invites you to come in and try the finest in Arabic and American cuisine. Everything from full dinners to daily breakfast specials awaits you 24 hours a day. So why don't you come to Istanbul Restaurant and discover what others already have. Istanbul Restaurant, where fine food and service awaits you again 24 hours a day. 15237 West Warren in Dearborn, or phone 582-1777.
The van runs great, but I might need a muffler.
If you need a new muffler, take your car to Pizzoli's Waremaster Service Center. Pizzoli's will install your new muffler for only $29.95. Pizzoli's will also save you money on brakes, tires, front-end alignment, computer wheel balancing, towing, and shocks. $62.95 for 4 shocks installed. Catch Pizzoli's Oil and Lube Special. Up to 5 quarts of oil, filter, and lubrication, only $12.95. Pizzoli's Waremaster Service Center, West Warren, 1 block east of Chase.
It was election night, November 1982. I'd just come back from a stakeout that ended up as cold as my dinner. I was beat. Then she walked in, Connie Bloom, society dame. She looked like trouble. She told me that Senator McCullough had just won the election, but now he was missing. She wanted me to find him because he'd promised to cut our taxes. It's been 4 years now and still no leads. He just vanished into thin air. Maybe it's a case for missing persons.
Maybe it's time to make it Senator Ronco.
For 22 years, a family tradition lives on. Experience the most pleasant and enjoyable evening of dining at the newly remodeled Uncle Sam's Village Cafe. The menu offers a full line of American and Middle Eastern food. Have your choice of lamb, beef, chicken, or seafood. Tired of the same old thing? Well, Village Cafe offers daily luncheon and dinner specials. Try these delicious and unique dishes. Uncle Sam's Village Cafe, serving cocktails, lunches, and dinners.
What if that apple a day doesn't keep the doctor away? Will your health insurance really help? Or will medical care costs eat it up too fast? If you want a free review of all your coverage needs, check with State Farm. To find out how healthy your health insurance really is, see a State Farm agent now.
Bugs Bunny showing ether?
Yeah, no, of course.
No, really. I mean, on a kid's cartoon, they had Bugs Bunny taking ether. That's what kids do to get high. Some kids.
Yeah, but I think when they made the cartoon, that wasn't. I don't think they were. Well, yeah, they were doing ether, but the kids don't know that. I don't think.
Well, you know, I'm surprised. Was that in a cartoon you saw in New York?
Yeah, well, they were in a laboratory and a bottle of ether broke.
Oh, like a doctor's office?
Yeah, right.
Where they would have ether.
Right, and a bottle of ether broke and they were going real slow, but it was animated. We were talking about slow motion television.
And, but you know, when you were talking, I thought you were saying that they were promoting drug use with, with Bugs Bunny, but in that day it was probably innocent. Even though, did you know, Mark, that in the early days of Sherlock Holmes, in the first few books that he used cocaine because
well, Sherlock Holmes was heavily addicted to heroin.
Heroin? In the movie?
Well, supposedly in real life, if there was a Sherlock Holmes.
Well, no, there wasn't. It was.
Some say there was now.
Well, I don't know. Arthur Conan Doyle, the guy that wrote it, but I've heard that Sherlock's was supposedly in the early novels used dope.
Yeah.
Is that a part of the youth culture today? Do you think?
I don't think it is so much as it used to be.
You think it's going
back in the San Francisco 60s days.
You don't even remember that.
Well, no, I don't, but I've heard a lot and read a lot about it.
Mark, you're a young fellow that started out on Back Porch Video. That was your really first television show, right?
Yeah, actually.
And you have been with the show how many years now? 3?
About 2.5, 3 years, I think. I think it's about 2.5 years.
Did you ever think that it would go to the point that you would even get as far as New York and auditions for MTV, just being on what started out as sort of a high school project?
Sort of a fun thing.
Right.
Sort of an experiment sort of thing. I don't think, no, I never really, you know, thought that much. I thought it would always be neat if you could, you know, if some of the people that worked on the show could get a break and
Sure.
and move on to different things in the business. It's kind of hectic. It's a rough business, kind of a cutthroat business. And
It really is.
people tell you that all the time, and
It's a tough business.
yeah, it's a rough racket. There's a lot of people out there.
What's been your perception since you've been on television now? You've been on for nearly 3 years, and you've been one of the most successful porch jockeys on Back Porch Video. You get a lot of fan mail. We get a lot of mail here for you. You're up on about 22 cable systems throughout here. You've been up on national television. You've been up on satellite. You've been up on, and now you're on Channel 31 out of Ann Arbor during Saturday afternoon. Probably while this show is going on, you're being televised somewhere. Has it changed your life any? I mean,
oh yeah, it's always neat just to get that touch of, I think with a lot of, I don't know if it's kids or maybe even older people, you always want to have maybe some taste of exposure of that sort of thing where you'll go somewhere and people will recognize you. And it's not really that blown out of proportion right now. In other words, you can go places and, you know, people may never recognize you. But then you'll go places every once in a while and people will say, oh, you're so-and-so, and they'll walk up and talk to you.
really, that happens to you?
Now more and more. But you hear about these movie stars like in Hollywood, and they say, oh, they just don't want to deal with people anymore and they're tired. And, well, I can see that probably everywhere they go, people will recognize them. But right now it's kind of neat because it's not that much of an obsession.
What do people look at you funny? I mean,
yeah,
at first?
They look at you with the kind of look like you just jumped out of the television set at them. And you know, they can't believe that you're standing there when you should be in a box. You shouldn't. You're not a real person. You're on television. You don't meet these people in real life, and you shouldn't be standing. I shouldn't be standing here talking to you, but somehow I am. And
well, what I was getting at was the idea, though, that have you ever had the feeling? I get this a little bit, and I have nowhere near the reach. People have known me for years with my voice, but not visually, since we've been on television. And one thing that I'll be in a store and I'll see people looking at me, and then they'll poke somebody, and they'll say, is that? And then they'll sort of say hi to you, like they know you.
Or maybe they won't, but yeah.
But you get that, you've had that experience too. How does that make you feel? Good, bad, or would you rather be just sort of anonymous?
No, I feel good about it. I feel good about it. I kind of, you know, it kind of tickles your funny bone a little bit. You kind of chuckle at it a little bit. You can tell, like, even if, you can tell if someone's there. There might be a whole crowd of people in the supermarket or whatever, a lot of people, and you could always tell the one that's recognized you. Even if just by you might not even be looking at them, or they might be behind you, but you'll turn around and you'll know that someone's looking at you and recognizes you. It's just instinctive, it seems like. And you can tell that they know you from somewhere.
Somewhere, yes. I've had that experience. The other thing is, you get an awful lot of fan mail from young teenage girls. Now, how does that happen? I mean, what's your feeling about that? I mean, do you respond, or what do they say to you?
It all depends. Sometimes you get some really crazy letters. You can pretty much tell if they're honest and serious, or if they're kind of off the wall, or by reading the letter you can tell what kind of person they are. And if you want to respond, that's fine. It all depends on what kind of letter it is.
What kind would you respond to? If someone wanted to write you, what kind of letters would you personally respond to? I mean, well, I think you're great type of letter, or would you?
Most of them are pretty positive, the letters.
Are they really?
Yeah, most of the letters are. You might get some people that call up on the phone, and on the phone, everyone's brave.
Oh, yes,
they'll say, in person, they might not say the same thing, but on the phone, they'll say negative things. But when they write, if they're going to sit down and take time to write, usually most of the letters that I've gotten are pretty positive.
Do they ever invite you places to dinner or come over and meet their folks?
I know what you're hitting at. Should we spill it?
Well, I just heard about this one this week.
I got a letter a couple weeks ago, and a girl invited me to her prom in East Lansing. And so it was over the phone, first of all, right after I got off the air. And I guess it plays in Lansing, the show at noon.
Right.
And we do the show live on Saturday evenings.
Right.
So she must have heard that we do it live. And so she called down to the studio and got me on the line and invited me to take her to her, escort her.
You're kidding. Now this is sight unseen.
I've never seen this girl before, no. So she says, I said, well, I've got a show that Saturday. You know, you have to cover yourself. And I said, I have a show that Saturday, and we'll have to see what happens. You know, I'm thinking. And she says, well, I'll tell you what, I'll send you a letter. explaining myself, a little bit about myself and what's going on at the prom, and sent a picture in it. So I said, you know, sure, fine, that'd be great.
And you thought that was the end of it?
Yeah, well, yeah, I figured I'd get a letter and end up saying, well, I can't get out of the show, and you know, because you get all kind of letters inviting you to here and there. And,
Sure.
And the letter came in, and there's a picture in it. Well, Kurt got the letter. It was registered.
The producer.
Yeah, and Kurt is the producer.
It was a registered letter?
Registered. It had to be signed and sent back. I think sent back. So she really.
This girl really wanted to meet you, right?
She did it right. So Kurt called me at home and said, "You better come down here." And I said, "Why? What's up?" He says, "Well, you got this letter from this girl, and she wants you to take her to prom." And I said, "Oh yeah, I talked to her." And he says, "You did? You have already talked to her?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, you better come down here and look at this letter." So I came down to the studio about an hour later, and the girl was really, you know, she's really
a nice
cute.
girl.
Yeah, nice girl. The letter was written really nice. She seemed nice on the phone, and she was cute. So I.
She was cute, so, okay.
What are you going to do? Yeah, would you, you know,
Yes,
I don't know.
of course.
So I said, sure, you know, what can this hurt? This is great experience. It's East Lansing. It's
What did you call? Did you call her then?
Called her and said, you know, I could get out of the show, and Kurt let me go. So sure, we could do this. You know, I think it'd work well.
And you went to her prom?
Oh no, it's not for another 2 weeks.
Oh, the prom. In other words, you haven't been to the prom yet.
No, last night I went to East Lansing. I have some friends at Michigan State, but I stopped off at her house to meet her family.
And you met the folks.
I had to check this out, you know, and make sure it's
Right,
all good.
right.
Make sure the
Are you
picture
going to
was
take
her.
her to the prom?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, that should be fun.
Why not? You know.
Well, it's an interesting way of meeting people.
Hey, you figure how many years, I don't know, I'll be married and I'm not going to do this stuff anymore anyway.
Did she, what did her parents think about it? You met her parents?
Yeah, there was the same kind of thing. They couldn't believe I was actually there, and then I jumped out of the television at them.
They watched you? They were surprised when you rolled up, and here he is.
Yeah.
And what did she say? What prompted her to...
Well, she figured that she wanted to go to the prom, and she'd been watching for a few
So
weeks.
she got to know you?
Yeah, television-wise. I guess she got to know me before I got to know her, and she decided she wanted to go to the prom. And well, one of my philosophies is that you can't get anything in life without trying.
Sure.
So she I guess had the same philosophy, and she tried, and it worked. So.
Well, you've always been an amazing youngster because you worked most through high school, didn't you? You always had a job.
13, I started.
You started working, and you found time to be a good student. You were accepted, when you were in high school, I remember you were accepted in the National High School Institute at Northwestern University, which is a very prestigious thing to be accepted into, and in radio and television.
Yeah.
So you've been early. You've been in this game a lot. Are you a model, too? I mean...
I've done some modeling.
Really?
I've done some still shots, and I've done some television modeling and some stage modeling.
And is it fun? Do you like it, or...?
I don't know. I don't think modeling... Not all the people, but most of the guys that model are, it seems like, I've modeled with some guys before, and it seems like they get real uneasy about new models that are coming in because they feel
You're a threat?
Threatened. Or
so
something.
they're sort of...
I mean, these people are a lot better looking than I am, by far, and they feel threatened by me, and I think, well, I don't know if this...
Well, I don't know. A lot of the girls, when I talk to them, you know, they all say, well, where's Mark? And they somehow don't believe that you just are an ordinary person. You go to college, you work, and you do the modeling and the show as over and above whatever you're doing. You were in New York, and I was reading back here that Martin Ciccone, who is
Madonna's brother.
The brother. And by the way, I finally heard how that story happened, by the way.
Oh, I think I have a good insight about what went on, too.
Well, what happened is that, there's a man named Adams who is the sales representative for MTV here in Detroit.
Yeah.
He's a man from Grosse Pointe. And they met accidentally at the ad club. The president of MTV, Mr. Pittman, was speaking, and so his salesman representative here in Detroit was obviously there, and they had radio and television folks, and he works at WDR DTX, and he was there, so consequently they met, and they got talking, and Martin evidently wanted an interview. He's always wanted to be an MTV disc jockey, and so that's how his interview came about. I was talking with the lady from the Detroit News who writes yours truly, Diane
Hostetler.
Hostetler or Hoster or whatever. Diane told me that that's how they got the call, that this had happened. And I said, well, did you know that one of the stars of MTV, rather of Back Porch Video, also had an interview? And how did that all come about? You were in New York.
Oh, we were in New York, and actually I was there with you.
That's right.
And the students from
You were a chaperone. You were taking the MTV.
Chaperoning, right.
Some of the Back Porch kids were in New York, and you had an audition. Now,
Right.
what was that all about? How did that happen? And, what did they do when you auditioned for MTV?
Well, I went to the interview first.
Oh, you had to go to an interview first?
Oh, I went to the interview, and I met Paula Harold, who is the head casting director at MTV. And from what I understand, she did the casting for some of the movies what's this guy that does the Pack of Kids, the Breakfast Club,
The Breakfast
John
Club?
Hughes.
Okay.
Okay, she does the casting for him for some of his movies.
You're kidding.
Yeah. So that's what I just recently found out, and I think it's the same lady. I imagine it is. So I did the interview with her, and she liked me because I had a perfect Midwest accent, and I guess to New Yorkers we have an accent here in the Midwest, and I was never aware, but I always thought that we had the perfect American accent. We talk with a perfect, no.
We're right. Everybody else speaks funny.
Yeah, well, that's how
right.
it is all over.
Sure.
But that's the way I thought. And she says, no, we have kind of a ah, like ma and pa, and we have a distinctive, very nasal.
What's going on here?
Very, very nasal, I guess.
What's going on? Where am I?
Ah, pa.
Yeah.
So she said that I didn't talk like that, actually, and that it was a good accent. And, I told her that I've done live television, and let's see what else.
Was she a little surprised that you've had your own show for 3 years? Did that seem to...
This is New York.
They've heard it all.
It's these people. She just sat there.
Mm-hmm.
And when I came in, then she kind of sat up, and we started talking and laughing and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't surprise New Yorkers, not native
Okay,
ones.
or are they? And they're not going to show it if you do.
No, not at all. These people, like you say, have seen everything.
Okay, well, you got through the first interview, and then they call you back.
Gave me a script and said, "Here, be at 517 West 57th." I was on Broadway now doing the interview. Yeah, in 2 hours. We have an opening, someone canceled, you'll be there for an audition. So I grab the script, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm in New York all by myself. There's no one there, So I go back downtown, down to the village, down to Greenwich Village. First thing I do, I had to do a teleprompted first thing was a teleprompted thing where the words come across.
Okay, that's a machine we use in television.
It's a piece of glass over the lens of the camera,
right?
And you look. It's like you see right through it, and you look right through the camera, and it's like the words come on it.
All you have to do is read it.
It's a mirror, actually.
Yeah,
you just read it. And the words come on.
That's easy.
Yeah, that's easy. You got to know what you're saying, so you know where to pause and.
Right.
So I had the script, and then I had to do an interview with a rock star, a mock interview, just a guy sitting there. And then a 1-minute resume in front of camera. So I ran downtown, I grabbed a Rolling Stone, I got to do an interview with a rock star. I'm flicking through the Rolling Stone magazine, what's going on, who's doing what in the business. So I find out that one of the lead singer from In Excess is going into the movie business, and so I figure, okay, I'll do him. I'll do him. So I write out a whole interview of the questions I'm going to ask. I read over the script about 60 billion times and make sure I got all these words perfect, I go back uptown. I've only got like 2 hours, and I got to jump on the subway, make sure I get up there and run in there. So I was early. I guess I was right on time, but these people were expecting everyone to be late because I was sitting in the green room, which is the pool room, and I hear
that's at MTV.
Yeah, at MTV at the studios where they shoot it, and I hear them running outside in the hallway, and they're saying, the guy says, well, the first interview's here, and he says, well, who is it? And he says, Mark Porada, and they said, Mark's here, and they said, yeah, okay, we're going in 5 minutes, and I'm hearing them say all this stuff.
So you're getting nervous.
Oh. My fingernails are bleeding, by the way. Oh yeah, just ripping them apart. So I go into the studio. The guy comes, and if they were like New Yorkers, like real fast and pushing, oh, let's get this done, it would have been a different story. But they were so nice. Hey, come on, Mark, come this way. Glad to meet you. Shake hands. The guy's got his arm around me, leading me into the studio. Sit here. We'll mic you. Real nice about everything. Put a little powder.
And so you had the audition.
Did the audition? Yeah.
And were you?
They were all shocked.
They're
like, where did you, where'd you learn to do television like this?
So it was because of Back Porch that you had that experience?
Of course, sure. As soon as I got in front of the camera, by the way, I just relaxed. It was like, oh,
because you've been doing it for years.
Finally, they put a camera in front of me. Here, I'm in the city running around, don't know what I'm doing, and finally, I've got a camera in front of me, so I'm fine now.
How old are you?
19.
19. Well, they tell me that things are still out, that there's still chances. They haven't decided, and there's going to be some big changes.
That's what I heard.
And the other thing that I hear is that some people are even looking at you for movies.
What? Yeah, I haven't heard
well,
that.
I have.
You always hear everything before.
Oh,
I
you're right. And wouldn't that be great? We got to go. Mark
Okay.
Porada, good luck. We'll see you on Back Porch Video.
Okay, thanks, Russ.
And you have a great career, okay?
Well, thank you.
Russ Gibb, I'll be back right after these announcements.
Carl's got the magic. Carl's got the cheese. Cheese. Carl's got the pizza. Whole wheat.
Pizza.
Chicago.
Pizza.
And regular.
Pizza.
Salad.
Subs. Pizza rolls.
And Carl's famous Amiga bread.
Free delivery with Pizza.
At Carl's Place.
Call 274-6116.
At Carl's Place.
He's got the magic.
Krug Lincoln Mercury in Dearborn has the right used car for you. With almost $1 million inventory, we're sure to have the car you're looking for. Krug Lincoln Mercury has over 30 reconditioned luxury vehicles, with town cars, Continentals, and Cadillacs available at the right price. And we also offer easy financing. So come on in and save at Krug Lincoln Mercury, Michigan Avenue, 1/2 mile west of Outer Drive in Dearborn. We take the guesswork out of buying a used car. At Adray Appliance, we know your pictures are special. That's why we recommend Kodak quality processing. Special care and attention to quality will make your pictures look their best. Adray offers enlargements up to 20 by 24 inches. So drop off your film at Adray's. You'll get quality Kodak processing, friendly courteous service, and our usual 20% discount on every order. See how good your prints can really be. Ask for quality processing by Kodak at Adray Appliance.
What if that apple a day doesn't keep the doctor away? Will your health insurance really help? Or will medical care costs eat it up too fast? If you want a free review of all your coverage needs, check with State Farm. To find out how healthy your health insurance really is, see a State Farm agent now.
Need help? No way.
Home Care of Dearborn presents a recline and lift chair. Now you can enjoy independent security and comfort with your own recline and lift chair from Home Care. At the touch of a button, our chair will help you stand up or sit down, and Medicare will reimburse you 100% with the doctor's prescription. Call 271-8120 now. Then stretch out and relax with the seat lift chair that also reclines from Home Care of Dearborn.
For beautiful innovations in eyewear designs, visit Gannon Optical. Your thick-edged lenses can be dramatically slimmed by the craftsmen at Gannon Optical. Examine our unique selection of over 30 women's and men's custom faceted lens shapes. Gannon Optical in Dearborn Village Plaza.
Mark Porada, young success story. Watch Mark on Back Porch Video on your cable system and on Channel 31 in Ann Arbor. I think it comes on Saturday afternoon. Hey, for those who have time to view the show today, I'd like to say thank you. For those who have time to drop me a card or a letter, I'd like to say thank you. But most of all, I'd like to thank you for just being you. Russ Gibb, at random.